Do you know what today is? Today is day 5 of my freedom from my 9 to 5, and let me tell you, it just feels great. Even small things like just being able to go get groceries in the morning has been life-changing. Anyway, I'm actually in here because I am looking for something and I just can't seem to find it anywhere, but I have to find it because it's really cool and I got to show you guys it today. Come on, I can never find this thing right when I need it. I thought I lost you. Okay, so now we're in business. Anytime it seems like the stock market might be about to crash or something like that, I always refer back to the timeless wisdom inside of this book. And today, I'd like to basically share with you what I've learned from reading this book, The Intelligent Investor by Benjamin Graham. So that when everybody's like, oh my God, the world's ending, stocks are going to zero, you can be like, whatever, bro. Cute headline. Okay, so the reason that I'm making this video today is because last week on Wednesday, I believe it was, the S&P 500 dropped about 6% in a single day. So the stock market had a pretty decent drop that day. And I think that this triggered some kind of PTSD for a lot of investors. Kind of reminded them of what happened back in March. But for me, it didn't. Not even in the slightest. I mean, even seeing the market completely nosedive back in March at the beginning of the lockdowns, I didn't even really bat an eye, even though my $90,000 portfolio dropped in value a ton like everybody else's. So I wanted to share with you today how I'm thinking about the stock market right now. But when I say how I'm thinking, I really mean how the people that I've studied are thinking. As I was coming up with my plan for this video, I was kind of browsing Instagram at one point and I saw this post from Ryan Holiday, and you might be familiar with him from his work on Stoicism. But basically, his post said, before Zeno founded Stoicism, an oracle told him if he wanted to learn to live a good life, he needed to have conversations with the dead. Reading is how you talk to the dead. Now, I don't mean to get all morbid on you, I just wanted to share that because I think there's some really great wisdom in those words. And that's because any investment knowledge that I have, it's because I'm standing on the shoulders of giants who have come before me. And one of those giants definitely is Benjamin Graham. I mean, Warren Buffett basically credits him with being his teacher of how he became a successful investor, among many other people who really credit Benjamin Graham with their knowledge. So if you aren't familiar with this book, The Intelligent Investor, it's essentially a timeless classic on investing, specifically a type of investing called value investing, but really the teachings in here are applicable to anybody. If you want to pick up your own copy, I'll put a link in the description down below. Clearly, I'm young. I don't have the years of experience that someone like Warren Buffett does, but I would really echo his praise for Benjamin Graham because the teachings in this book have saved me time and time again from losing money in the stock market. And now when we're in the midst of a lot of uncertainty again, is the stock market going to crash again? Who knows? But if you can apply the teachings from this book, it won't matter if the stock market crashes again. Sorry, 1 second. Hello?
Why, hello there.
Hi, who's calling?
Mr. Market, of course.
I'm sorry, but I don't think I know a Mr. Market.
Well, now you do, and I'm pleased to let you know that I'll be calling you every single day.
Yeah, no, I'd really prefer if you didn't. Why would you do that?
You're an investor, right?
Yeah.
Great. Let me explain how this works then. Every single day, I will call you and make you an offer. That's right. I will call you every day and let you know what price I'm willing to buy your investments for. Not only that, I'll also have some stocks that I can sell to you, and I'll give you these prices every day too. Sound good?
No, not really. I do not need that every day.
Well, hold on now. Let me also tell you this. It might change your mind. I'd also like to inform you that I am certifiably insane. Trust me, it's been verified. Some days I'll call you feeling great and offer you lots of money. Other days I'll be downright miserable and I'll give you pennies on the dollar. Sound good now?
This sounds terrible. Why would I want this?
I don't know. Why are you checking the stock market every day then?
That right there is the essence of one of my favorite lessons from reading this book. So Benjamin Graham basically created this character who he called Mr. Market. And Mr. Market was a personification of the stock market. And he created this person called Mr. Market because he kind of saw the stock market as being extremely kind of moody and almost bipolar. It would some days seem to be really euphoric. Everyone would be really happy, and then other days it would be really pessimistic. Everybody would be all depressed about their investments. So he created this Mr. Market character to kind of personify that, and he created this parable to illustrate Mr. Market was this crazy guy who would offer you really random prices on your investments to kind of try and show you how crazy it is to pay attention to the stock market in the same way. That fictional character who's gonna call me on my phone every day and just offer me super random stock prices is no different than the real-time quotes that I can go and pull up on my investments on my phone right now. Normally this seems like a good thing. I mean, normally we think it's great that I can have access to real-time valuations of my investments so I know exactly how much they're worth right now. But when we see this through the lens of Mr. Market, now it kind of seems like it might actually be a bad thing that we can check it this frequently, because it might make us more prone to making bad decisions in the stock market. If this is the first time that you've heard of the Mr. Market parable, then I'd also like to introduce you to something that can also really change your life when it comes to investing. And that's Warren Buffett's shareholder letters. So every year, Warren Buffett wrote these essentially personal letters to his shareholders that he would put out every single year. And they've been going on for decades now, and every single one is honestly just an artifact of genius. The best part is they're freely available for anybody to go and read. I mean, honestly, just think of these letters like a letter from your grandpa, except your grandpa was Albert Einstein and he'd send you a letter every year telling you his wisdom. So I wanted to go through a particular letter with you today, and it was his 1987 letter, because he specifically expands upon the idea of Mr. Market in such a brilliant way. So I want to go through it with you, paragraph by paragraph. Ben Graham, my friend and teacher, long ago described the mental attitude toward market fluctuations that I believe to be the most conducive to investment success. He said that you should imagine market quotations as coming from a remarkably accommodating fellow named Mr. Market, who is your partner in a private business. Without fail, Mr. Market appears daily and names a price at which he will either buy your interests or sell you his. So here Warren is introducing what he thinks to be the most important thing that was the success for his mental attitude towards investment success. And that was this example of Mr. Market. And here he's making it very clear that Mr. Market's going to appear every day and be able to offer you prices on investments. Even though the business that the two of you own may have economic characteristics that are stable, Mr. Market's quotations will be anything but. For sad to say, the poor fellow has incurable emotional problems. At times he feels euphoric and can see only the favorable factors affecting the business. When in that mood, he names a very high buy-sell price because he fears that you will snap up his interests and rob him of imminent gains. At other times, he is depressed and can see nothing but trouble ahead for both the business and the world. On these occasions, he will name a very low price since he is terrified that you will unload your interests on him. So basically what Warren's saying here is that even though you might be invested in a business that's, extremely stable, there's no obvious issues with this business, like everything looks fine, on some days, Mr. Market's quotes are going to be anything but stable. On some days, he's going to be really euphoric and only see the very positive aspects of that business, and he'll value it very highly. But on other days, he's going to be really pessimistic and just basically depressed and see only the very negative qualities of that business and the problems, and therefore he's going to offer you a really low valuation on that business. But like Cinderella at the ball, you must heed one warning or everything will turn into pumpkins and mice. Mr. Market is there to serve you, not to guide you. It is his pocketbook, not his wisdom, that you will find useful. If he shows up someday in a particularly foolish mood, you are free to either ignore him or to take advantage of him. But it will be disastrous if you fall under his influence. Indeed, if you aren't certain that you understand and can value your business far better than Mr. Market, you don't belong in the game. As they say in poker, if you've been in the game 30 minutes and you don't know who the patsy is, you're the patsy. So here we see a little bit of Warren's charm. He's an older guy, so everything turning into pumpkins and mice and patsies, that's kind of his lingo, and it's kind of charming. But basically he's saying here that the stock market quotes, so anytime you can go and look at the price of your investments, those are there to serve you, not to guide you. They're not there to tell you if you've made a good investment or not. You should already know. You should be confident in whatever company or index fund or anything like that you're investing in, and you should be able to review how that company or group of companies is doing to be able to formulate your own opinion if you've made a good investment or not. You shouldn't have to check the stock price every single day to know that. Otherwise, you'll fall under the influence of the stock market's crazy behavior like so many people do. The value of market esoterica to the consumer of investment advice is a different story. In my opinion, investment success will not be produced by arcane formulae, computer programs, or signals flashed by the price behavior of stocks and markets. Rather, an investor will succeed by coupling good business judgment with an ability to insulate his thoughts and behavior from the super contagious emotions that swirl about the marketplace. In my own efforts to stay insulated, I have found it highly useful to keep Ben's Mr. Market concept firmly in mind. And that's exactly what I do. So when I use my buy and hold index fund passive investment strategy, I'm insulating my thoughts from the emotions of and ideas of other investors, that they don't affect me. I've got my own plan, I'm sticking to it, and it's highly likely that it's gonna work out really well for me. But sometimes you get a little bit shaken. Sometimes when there is an immense amount of fear in the stock market, it kind of does bleed over at you a little bit. So I just read a little bit of Benjamin Graham, and then I almost immediately feel again so confident in my path. So this is why when I see the stock market go down 6% in a single day, I just don't care. I mean, even if it went up 6% in a single day, I just would not care. And the reason why is because I'm not planning on selling my investments anytime soon. So why would I care what they're doing right now? I'm confident in where they will be 10, 20, 30, 40, 50 years from now. Think about it this way. If you own a home or you own a car, do you call up your real estate agent every single day and say, hey, what's the value of my home today? Or do you call the car dealership and say, hey, what can I sell my car for today? No, you don't, unless you actually were looking to sell your home or car that day. So why do we treat stocks any differently? We treat stocks differently because we have convenient price quotes at our fingertips all times of day. So leave them alone. You can't control the price of your investments. But investing is a game of controlling what you can control. Now, I've talked quite a bit about controlling those things on my channel, and I will continue to do so that we can continue to become more intelligent investors together. And if you're not subscribed to my channel yet and you're watching this, then go ahead and subscribe because I'm just getting started. Let's bring about a new era of financial knowledge and education that empowers our generation to take control of their lives financially. Hit that like button if you found this video useful, and stay tuned for more. Thank you all so much for watching today, and I will see you again soon.